We wish to acknowledge the traditional custodians of the land we are producing on, the Woodjuk people. We wish to acknowledge and respect their continuing culture and the contribution they make to the life of this city and this region.
Warning, this podcast is a safe space for all individuals to freely express themselves in the sexiest way possible. Any information or advice provided comes from our own experiences and in no means should be taken as professional advice. We respect each individual and their experiences and have zero tolerance for any rude or unsolicited behaviour. Hi guys, welcome to Project Sweet, Untamed Tarts, or as we know it, Project
Slut. I'm a slut.
Project S.L.U.T, the show that educates and entertains all things sex in an inclusive and positive way. Let's put power back into being a slut and fight back slut shaming with your host, Lavi.
By the way, how do you say the rope thing? Is it Shibari?
Shibari.
Okay, yeah. I don't want to not forget that. All right.
So today we have Kaya and Honey with us today, and we're doing Montana's Munchies, but except I won't be doing the Munchies today. It's going to be them. So how it works is you're obviously both blindfolded at the moment, so you're not going to know what is going to be put in your mouth. Yeah, big surprise. So we've got a little thing ready to go. So yeah, you guys excited? Yeah, are you hoping it's something nice?
I like having things.
Please put something in my mouth.
So
right,
today, so my mum recently went travelling to Korea, and I brought this back.
Yes, I love Korean food and stuff.
This is like something actually Montana wanted to put in her mouth, but now she wants to put it in yours.
Oh.
I'm excited about
So
it.
we get this on.
Is it like messy?
It's like
It's a little bit, so just be careful.
Open your mouth. This is already
Yeah.
Do you want to wrap it up?
It's
the fish
sugared squid.
Oh my god!
I eat this all the time.
Yeah.
with my
Oh
family.
really? Well, this was
Yeah.
not a very good surprise then, but yeah.
I was excited.
Sorry,
Oh,
you got
yum.
Do you want to try some?
you got two half
Absolutely
Asians
not.
here, so
Today, so.
Well, did you guys like being part of Montana's Munchies, even though you already had this?
yeah, because I was like, I like it. It was good.
Isn't it?
So we're here with Honey and Kaya, not the jam.
Not the jam.
Not the jam.
She's the sweetest jam.
Oh, that's cute. So nice.
And then get ready for some like corny sayings throughout this, because like
Yeah, we
you
love
know,
it.
We just had a 1 year anniversary, so I'm very, very corny and romantic up right now.
You're all loved up right
I'm
now.
very loved up
And
right
congratulations, guys, by the way. 1 year with a person. It's a lot.
1 year with one person is a lot, and then you throw in a whole other bunch of people in the mix, and then
Yeah,
it
but
gets.
I've been FIFO as well.
You have been FIFO. I've missed you for like a lot of that.
Yeah.
So it doesn't even count, really. She just got that time to make up.
6 months and then it's actually a year.
So before we get into why we're talking about Shibari today and why we're talking to you guys, do you guys want to tell us a bit about who you are and about, you know, your life at the moment in the scene? Like you just said you celebrated your anniversary, so just kind of give us, like our audience, a rundown about who you guys are.
So I'm a honeybee on Instagram. If y'all have probably seen me around at parties or somewhere, heaps of people actually come up to me and go like, "Are you Kaya?" And they mistake me for you.
Yeah.
And then I have to like correct them. It's funny. But no, I got into like, I would say the kink poly scene a couple of years ago. I was like fresh out of, not fresh, a couple of months out of a breakup. I was like in a 7-year monogamous relationship with a guy.
Damn.
And very toxic, horrible ending to that one. And so it was a bit of a journey of self-exploration and trying to find myself. Like I think I was like 29, contemplating 30. So, and I ended up like, I was going and exploring and yeah, just kind of fell into it. Like I met a couple and I was unicorning for them. Unicorning, I don't know if anyone knows that term.
Oh, do you want to explain it for our audience?
Well, usually it's a single female that hooks up or dates couples.
The third in the couple.
Yeah, preferred like the third in the couple. Sometimes can be a guy. I don't know why it's called unicorn.
I think it's because it's rare.
Yeah,
I think that's the point. Like,
it's meant to be rare.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
it's like the magical unicorn we all want to be with.
Yeah, if you go on like Tinder, and
you get the
there's
unicorn
bubbles,
hunters.
Yeah, there's
Yeah.
people being like, looking for unicorns.
I've actually seen that, on
Yeah.
Tinder profiles, like looking for a
Yeah,
unicorn.
yeah. Well, I discovered the pitfalls of unicorn hunting and couple privilege and what it is to date a couple if you haven't actually set boundaries and stuff with them. So that was a learning experience. But found my way into the poly kink scene through that. Was dating a guy who was poly and met a lot of people through that. And then went to my first hedonism party.
Woohoo!
Shout out to Hedo. It was going to like hedonism parties, threesome parties, and I met you at you were working Californication.
Did we actually meet though?
Yeah, because you were. So we. Sorry, it goes with both. We had a mutual spicy friend.
Yeah.
And we're gonna say spicy.
I love spicy friend.
Spicy
friend.
Friend.
Shout out also to the best spicy friend group on the planet that we have. We absolutely love these guys.
Met through hedonism.
Yeah, who we also met through hedonism. But yeah, we had a mutual spicy friend, and she knew you, and I'd hooked up with her at New Year's. And yeah, she introduced us because you were working the bar at Californication. And then we were going to the boat party, and I was like hell keen to get to know you.
We met properly after because your
Yeah,
boyfriend asked me out on a date.
So I
love that.
Okay,
I love that.
So juicy goss. I was hell keen on her. My boyfriend, who is no longer my boyfriend, he knew that, and he slid into her DMs
He's
on
been
Insta.
DM'd a few times, and I was like, I don't know who this is. He never replied. And then he messaged me being like, it was so good to meet you. And I was like, who are you?
Who are you?
and then asked her out for lunch when I was like, motherfucker, you knew I wanted to meet her and I wanted to go out with her.
And he told me he was poly and I was interested in
Yeah.
poly, so I went to the
And he
lunch
did the
date.
sneaky sneak. So anyway, that happened, and then I invited you to go to an all-girl
Yeah, she
rope
slid
jam.
into my DMs while I was on the date with him, and I was like, oh, I like her more.
And then I took you out, and we did
Snatched me up.
at the all-girl rope jam.
Yeah, Hitchin.
Yeah, Hitchin' Bitches.
Yeah.
And we did.
Wait, what is this?
Yeah, what? Yeah.
Hitchin' Bitches? So it's like
Female
like
identifying.
female identifying rope space, runs every like couple of weeks.
So guys
That sounds
can
cool.
come, but they can only bottom. So it's female identifying only riggers.
Yeah.
Sounds like a
Dude,
good dumb
We
space.
should go there.
We should go
Yeah,
there.
I can. I'll try and send you the Facebook deets afterwards because it's
Amazing.
just a
Yes.
really nice, comfortable space for if you're starting out and exploring Shibari, and
You know Pia Rowe?
No.
Peer rope is another offshoot.
Yeah,
I'm
they're
going
in
to
the
give
same-
you all the
they're in the same
deets.
space.
They're in the same
Wow.
space, so.
I'm
We'll
excited.
get to that later
We'll get
on.
to that. Sorry, I've got to like just shouting out names and everything to you. But yeah, so when we ended up meeting and we incidentally went on, I think one of the best dates I've ever had in my life. Because it just kept going. Like we went to Varsity Bar, and then a friend of mine had tickets to a Fringe show. Fringe was on. And then we ended up going to dinner, and we went to Fringe, and then we were just like, you dropped me off, and we just made out in the car for like 20 minutes.
Yeah, and I dropped you off
That's
back here, and I
adorable.
think I tucked you in.
Yeah, you tucked me into bed, you did too.
You guys are so cute.
So it was from get-go, and so like ever since then it was just like, I don't know, it's one of those serendipitous meetings that
Yeah, it's
It's
just
like when Sally met Sally.
yeah, and it's very like I've never had a girlfriend before, and with Mel it's very easy.
I love that.
Yeah.
It felt very easy. It didn't feel weird.
No, and it all just kind of fell into place and stuff. So, yeah. So then, like, you know, my other relationship ended. And this one just kept going stronger and stronger.
Snatched her away.
I love that. So today we're talking about Shibari, which is what you can explain to us and to the audience. So explain what Shibari is first off. Like, what is it on the basic level of whatever the definition of shibari is.
Shibari means to tie.
To tie in Japanese, I'm assuming?
Yeah, in
Okay.
Japanese.
Like, it's interesting to go back and see like the origins of shibari and how it all started, which actually was the origins, like, and correct me if I'm wrong, it used to be used by like samurai and everything, like, and they had a martial arts hojo jutsu, and it was like quickly to tie and get captors and things to submit.
That's a pretty cool
and
history.
it was then seen as actually like shameful for them, because then like they would be tied up and restrained, and these were like warrior, like people you're capturing. So that was like the origins,
Yeah,
and then
and I think it was used for torture as well.
yeah, and then like
I think shibari is probably kind of based off that, but
I think that was like
it wasn't called shibari.
No, it wasn't called shibari. It was like, but that was like the kind of root origins of it. Like, so it's been going for a while, and then I can't remember the guy's name, but someone in the 1900s started doing like more what we call like shibari today, and there was like pictures and videos and things that you can find of it, and so he was sort of like the father of it.
And I could be wrong, and Tim might kill me for getting it wrong. I mean, Tinker Chain might kill me for getting it wrong.
Here we go.
But I think it was a Ketsu Denchi.
Ketsu Denji, yeah.
Potentially was the first person. And I think it was him, and he put his pregnant wife in the snow and tied her up and took a picture.
Fuck.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So shibari wasn't like kind of what you see that it was today. Shibari was a lot more like used for being shameful in Japan.
Because Japan's such a culture where it's like, it's such interesting how it's like, it's such a modern culture, but sexually still very, can be quite conservative, even though it's got, you know, it's also the origins of like a lot of other kinks and my favourite tentacle porn. While we're just out there for kinks, just going to throw them all out there. And yet, shibari is seen as sometimes it could be, a little bit shameful, because it's that like exposing you and opening, like forcing you to be open up and be on display,
And for
like,
Westerners, like, we don't really care about our skin showing or being exposed.
No,
But for the
I'm happy to run around
Japanese,
naked.
It's a very different culture, and it was used as a way to kind of insinuate shame
Yeah.
or evoke shame. So it was like used to expose and.
Where did you first hear about it, and how did you guys sort of begin doing this? Like, where did it even come from for you two?
I've always seen, like, I was, like, slightly aware of it through popular media. So there's Japanese shibari, I'm going to forget everyone's name. Hinoko?
Hinoko?
No.
Kana?
No, not Kana. Not Naka. The one that does all those displays, like, in the art. Like, he did the whole...
Kinoko.
He did the whole building.
Yeah, it's Kanoko.
Is it Kanoko?
Yeah.
Okay. Like, so it's like, he'll tie, like he's done like a whole shibari installation, like on a whole building outside, and then tied models into it. Like, he's done, like, it's quite far on like the artistic scale and everything. So I was like already aware of it through that. But when I first started exploring the kink poly scene, I went to Club 103 in Belmont. And some people were doing shibari there, and Darling Ropes was the first person to actually tie me, who we're going to Raunchy Ropes actually straight after this, which is an event she runs, and yeah, she was the first person to give me a little taste of it, and I was like, fuck yeah, what is this? Like, this feels amazing.
So, like, when you got tied for the first time, like, what kind of, like, things were you feeling? Like, what kind of emotion? Like, where was your headspace?
My experience is probably different to yours.
Yeah, well, I was going through like a bit of a hectic time trying to work out where I was in my place and everything, so I felt like my life was a little bit chaotic, and as soon as I was tired, it was this moment of stillness. Like, you know, when you always try and meditate, and then you're like, oh, let's just sit here and try and clear your mind, and you just can't do it. I had that moment when, like, in rope, where everything else in my mind just went. I was present in the moment. I was thinking of nothing else. It was like almost practicing mindfulness in rope, and I just had this amazing feeling of like I was finally connecting with someone. It was like a pure stranger that I just
with yourself.
Connecting with myself, and it was just this moment that it just all hit me, and I was like, fuck, I need this in my life.
I love that, because I feel like a lot of people say that they like doing rope and being restrained because of that mindfulness. And I've never done anything like that before. And in my head, I'm looking at someone who's tied up and I'm like, that's peaceful for you? Like, that makes no sense to me.
There's different ways it can be used for. My first experience was before I got into the kink scene. I was looking to explore BDSM and met someone, and he did some shibari on me, but it was more sexual. And being tossed around and stuff, which was fun. But then my second time, a couple of years later, when I met you, and got into the kink scene properly, it was very peaceful. Like, we did our first scene together, and it was very, like, tranquil and peaceful.
Yeah,
and
I was still trying to figure out what the fuck I was doing. It's
not always about how well you're tying someone as well. Like, you could tie someone very unaesthetically, but it's about how you tie them.
Yeah, I remember
it can be very sensual without it being aesthetic or technical.
I took you out to Himitsu for a rope jam, and we I remember just like having this moment where all I could see was you, and I was just so concentrated on making sure you had a good experience, and I was running the rope on you so slowly, and
you really hyper focus on the sensations that are happening, so like fingers running along you, that feeling of being bound.
Yeah.
Very like within yourself.
Yeah, I had this moment where I was like, oh fuck, my back's really aching, like bending over, but she's just enjoying it so much, I'm just gonna push through and deal with it.
And you don't notice anything else around you. Like, I've tied people before and I'm like, oh, this is really shit. Like, my rope's so shit, and then they come out of it after and they're like, oh, that felt amazing. That felt so like peaceful and sensual, and it's like, oh shit.
And I remember afterwards, I was like, we finished and we were just kissing and everything.
And you were your own worst critic as well.
Yeah, and then we suddenly just heard this clapping, and we then turned around and we had like an audience of a few people who had just come to watch. I was like, where the fuck did these people come from? I was like, what's going on?
Can you leave some tips, please? Could you explain how, because I'm not very into the BDSM scene, so could you explain for myself and for others who are also like me, how you kind of start to finish? Like, how do you set up, like what kind of ropes do you use? Is there specific types? Like, how do you mentally prepare yourself? Give me that sort of thing. If you guys were like, yep, let's just start like a scene, how would that look like?
Oh, you want to be in a good headspace.
And pre-negotiation.
Pre-negotiation, such a big thing to pre-negotiate. So, and making sure the person's really aware, like especially if you're tying someone who's never been tied before, it's making sure they're aware of the risks that come with shibari, because there are a huge amount of risks. Whenever you go to any
with any kink, there's always risk.
There's always risk, but like with shibari, it's because it is bondage and everything, and you are restraining. Whenever you go to an event and stuff, then you have to go through a waiver, and you have to acknowledge the fact that there are potential risks, and you literally list them out of like muscular injury, nerve damage, like lip risks. If you're being restrained and you haven't like suspended, like safety harness like yourself up correctly,
and
like
checking
falling.
in on whoever you're tying, what their headspace is. Because shibari can also be sadistic. So
okay. So now we're going to get into the range of shibari, but also headspace going in. Like if you're going to tie someone and you're not in a good headspace, don't tie. Like it's like with anything, it's almost like don't get in the car if you've been drinking. Don't. Like I would never do shibari if I've taken something or if I've been heavily drinking or anything, because your judgment is so impaired, and you can fuck something up really risky, like easily, and that's just a risk I'm not willing to take. So making sure you're in a good state of mind, a good frame of mind, because it's also
being able to read the other person is very important.
Yeah,
well,
and people don't realize, I think, sometimes the emotional tax that it also takes.
Yeah, the drop that you can have.
Yeah, because normally when you tie, not always, but usually
it can feel very euphoric.
Yeah,
similar to like with any kink, when it feels euphoric, it's like taking MDMA. If you have that peak and you have that high and it feels all lovely, but then because it's an unnatural peak,
so
you can kind of come down from it as well.
You can enter subspace. So subspace is I don't know, a state of mind, really.
That's blissful?
Yeah, that's blissful, that's peaceful. It's like a lot of heightened emotions. Maybe if you know what are the 4 happy hormones, like your serotonin, your endorphins.
Oxytocin.
Yeah. So because you're getting the oxytocin from the touch, like the rope, it could like be hitting in your endorphins, your serotonin. You're playing with those hormones, and they do get raised during a lot of other kink things and stuff, but I find Shibari sends me into subspace really easily, and all these hormones just get raised really like quickly. So sometimes if you do a lot of it, you can find the next day or a couple of days later you will have a sub drop, and that is like all your hormones then suddenly going, hey, you've just raised me like crazy, like you've gone on a night partying. And now welcome
That's probably
to
another important thing as well, to
Yeah.
establish what aftercare is going to be, and if that person doesn't know what to expect, to kind of be very clear in explaining what might happen to them, constant check-ins. Some people like to be touched, some people like to be left alone, so kind of figuring out what that person needs. Aftercare.
Like I would never.
Like some people don't need a lot of aftercare. I'm one that doesn't need much, depending on what we're doing.
I like a cuddle.
But generally, and then other people need like days of touch and check-ins.
Some people have some bit of sugar afterwards because if that
Can depend how heavy the scene is
up.
as well.
Yeah.
And what their mental space was going into the scene.
Like I find there's so many differing factors. Like and every time you tie is going to be different. Because like you're always in two different states of mind. Like you're never quite the same person when you're doing something.
I love the idea of subspace. Like I've never been in a subspace, but hearing it from you, from like your dom work, and like hearing it from other people in the scene, it just sounds like a different world. Because, like, you know, like I said, I haven't really done much BDSM before, but you know, we always say like aftercare is so important.
Yeah.
And you know, you guys saying like, you know, it's really, really important to be in the good headspace before you even go in for something like risky. That's like really important.
Yeah, and I think as a top as well, if you can't provide aftercare to make sure that they're able to get it from someone else as well, like that's pretty important.
Mm-hmm.
If you're not there and available to provide that level of aftercare for them, making sure that they have someone instead.
Yeah, it's like just be a decent human being.
How do you guys, I mean, like, excuse the pun, but tie in Shibari to your own sex life?
I haven't used it much in sex. I'm still waiting. I really want to tie myself up and do 2 photos and just get fucked. I'm still waiting for that.
I've been tied and had sexual acts done to me, but not used it myself.
Yeah, I've actually, the funny thing about Shibari is I've kept it very as my my non-sexual thing, like because I'm such a sexual like being in all other times, like I really enjoy it. Is an understatement. And so Shibari for me is actually the one thing where like I'm not focused on sex.
Yeah, well, I was pretty sexual orientated before kink, and then I got into Shibari, and it kind of satisfied that.
It almost is, like, sometimes if you have a really good satisfying throat, like, Shibari scene or something.
I think, yeah, for me it was very healthy.
Yeah, you don't, and it's like, sometimes you just don't need sex afterwards. Like, you do that, you're in that much fucking bliss, you're like, I'm good.
This is, like, so new to me because, and I feel like a lot of people would also agree, like, when you just listen to someone being like, yeah, I'm so sexually satisfied from being tied by rope, and I'm like, you guys just go to Bunnings and do that. Like, so what's the difference between what you guys are doing and just say like me whipping out some handcuffs and chucking them on for like restraint purposes?
Because it's not, I think it's not just, it's the act of restraint as well.
Yeah. I think with Shibari there's a lot more, or with any restraint, you're going to have to trust your partner to some level, but with Shibari, like, there's a lot of nerve damage that can potentially happen as well. And if you're fully bound, like, you can just have your hands bound with rope and tied to the bed, and that's Shibari.
Yeah, I'm trusting you not to strangle me because I pissed you off early that day.
Have you guys, you know, I mean, look, not like that you would be, you know, sadistic or anything, but have you guys had any, you know, embarrassing moments or, you know, fails kind of doing this Shibari with each other or with other people?
Oh yeah, 100%. Especially when you're first letting out. Like,
oh, go on, dish the stories. We got story time.
Because it's like whether you're basic first knot you learn.
Oh, like rope slipping, tension not being
even.
Like, you have to tie, and when you're doing the knots, you have to do it fairly tight as well. And you're really afraid to tie too tightly on someone who's like, oh, I'm gonna hurt them.
Me just like forgetting my most basic knots because of like my brain's just frozen up, going, oh fuck, I'm tying someone. Oh fuck, what do I do?
And you keep the tension even, everything like slips, and like when you're in the moment and doing something super sensual as well. I don't really do anything that's technical or structured because I don't really know that much.
I like just doing a lot of flow rope, like of just just the act of just wrapping someone up with rope and dragging it along the skin. Sometimes applying, depends how what they want. Like if you want it to just be very sensual and soft, but sometimes like I will go into a little bit of sadistic rope. I love sadistic rope.
For yourself?
What's sadistic
For
rope?
myself.
Inflicting pain.
Yeah, rope with the intention to inflict pain. Like
or
just
cause discomfort.
Yeah, I'm like.
Sorry, what was that?
Or cause discomfort.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, like pretzel me, bend me, like toe rope. Toe rope can fucking hurt. Like
What's toe rope?
Work around your toes.
Yeah, like getting right in there and like putting pressure on and stuff. Yeah, definitely like really uncomfortable positions. The rope going across so harsh, like it will actually leave rope burns and marks. Sometimes when I'm just feeling in a really masochistic mood, I'm like, I really like sadistic rope.
Is masochist the one where you like the pain or like giving
You
the
like
pain?
the pain.
Like the
You
pain. Yeah, yeah.
So being a sadist is where you like inflicting the pain.
So I always identified like I would call myself a masochist. And I'm usually the bottom in any scenario.
I'm a sadomasochist. I'm a bit of both.
Yeah, I tried topping. Every time I try to top you, you just like fucking tweak my nipple or like bite me. Just go like fucking no, bitch. And I was just solely on the floor and I'm just like, oh, I'm sorry.
I mean, you don't have to answer if you don't want to, but just out of my own curiosity, what is your kind of threshold for how much you like to be massacred? Is that the right term? Massacred. Massacred.
I've changed a lot, I think.
Yeah, I used to like a lot more pain before, but I think I've chilled out a little bit.
I don't like pain just by itself. So someone just walks up and bite me, I'm like, oh, fuck off. But if it was like involved in a scene, like during Shibari or even during sex and someone bit me, it's a bit different because you've got other endorphins running with you.
Yeah.
But pain inflicted just by itself, I don't really like if it's not really in a scene.
I like it mixed with sensuality. So
Yeah.
I'm like, you can go really hard with me, but then like I need a soft touch.
Yeah, I think my
like a
masochism
stroke.
is more scene based.
Yeah.
So I like it during maybe impact or during Shibari, if it's that kind of scene that we're doing.
Yeah.
I'm
Or
glad you're not a masochist in your real life. That would kind of probably be problematic.
Some people are. Some
Yeah.
people are just masochists 24/7.
Yeah, I can't do 24/7.
But there's certain sensations I hate. Like I hate rope pinching my skin. Hate it. Can't get around that sensation.
Is that a sensation that is done on purpose or something that just happens naturally with rope tying?
Oh, with my rigger, he does it intentionally, but it can happen accidentally as well.
Her rigger is a sadist too.
Yeah.
Sorry,
but-
so can you just say, like, explain what a rigger is?
Rope top.
Rope top.
A rigger is a rope top. A bunny is a rope bottom, sometimes referred to as a model.
Oh, okay.
As a rope model.
I love that it's a bunny. That's so cute, like almost cute.
Rigger and bunny was just like a cute term thrown out. But some people prefer like rope model or something as an alternative.
So many different labels.
There's different labels. People use different labels. And again, it's like everything I find, like, also disclaimer, everything that we're talking about, like, this is very much our experiences with Shibari and kink and everything. Like, our experiences are not the same of what other people experience or do or anything. So this is a very you're just getting a little window into what we've gone through and what we feel about things. Not to say that this is a blanket statement about Shibari in general, what other people might experience. We're very, very individuals.
Just before we wrap up, you did name drop so many places before.
Yes.
So for people who are either already in the scene, people like, Montana and I who are like interested in, maybe checking it out, where do we start? Where do we go? Who do we talk to?
That is a very good question.
Thank you.
Depends what you're looking to get out of it. Peer rope, it's good to practice rope and meet that community.
Yeah, you'll find a good community. So peer rope and hitching bitches if you just want like.
I love the name of that.
An all girl scene. We're going to raunchy ropes, which is
also female identifying.
Female non-binary identifying.
They also do mixed gender as well.
Yeah, they do mixed gender sometimes. In terms of clubs, there's Himitsu. It's not currently open, but it's a kink club that's run in Perth.
Jams and workshops.
Yeah, which will run rope jams and workshops. You can sometimes find people doing Shibari at Club 103 out in Belmont. At least that's when I first started. That's how I met people through there. Not always. I think Kink College is doing some things as well.
Yeah. It's also important to remember there's a lot of different styles of Shibari too.
Yeah, a lot, and there's a lot of people.
It's not always sensual. Like a lot of Shibari I do is quite challenging.
You do some crazy ass suspension sometimes that I just look at you and just going like, what the fuck are you doing?
I think if you're looking to learn Shibari as a beginner, I would say go peer rope or hitching bitches.
Yeah.
And then looking around, if you see anything on FetLife as well, workshops that are 101s. Sometimes there's international riggers or riggers from the eastern states or South Australia that'll come here as well.
Riggers on tour.
Yeah, there's probably some others that we're missing that are out there, but they're always just popping up, and like you can find them on usually Instagram or FetLife and things. And then also just be aware of like, it is always better to learn in person. 100% rather than just picking things up online. Not to say that online's bad, but you don't
You'll learn a lot more about safety.
Yeah, you
got to miss. That you'll miss online.
You'll miss a lot about the pre-negotiations and how to actually properly do a scene, and
even just you can't see how you tension something as well. Or
how
something might be tight.
Yeah, you're not getting that feedback from people. Like if you're just going off online resources. So just be like a little bit careful about where you do learn off, and take it slow. Don't just go think you're going to chuck a whole bunch of rope on someone and suddenly be then suspending them in like a couple of weeks. It doesn't work like that.
Which is what we see. People do that.
People
will think they're hot shots at Shibari, done it for a couple of weeks, and be like, I want to suspend someone.
And it's like, no, stay on the ground. Floor rope is great. Stay on the floor. I like floor rope.
That's where a lot of injuries happen as well.
Because as soon as you're suspending someone and taking their like full weight away from them and ability, like, of course your risk profile's just got to go up.
Is there a mattress on the ground at least?
No.
Oh shit! Yeah, no. You gotta be careful then. Hey.
No.
Yeah, there's so many different things. Like it's not just tying someone. It's like safely getting them down. It's knowing what's causing the nerve damage. It's so many different factors to it. Like I do Shibari quite regularly, and I do ties that don't always work, and I have to get down from them pretty quickly. So it's a lot of workshopping. It's a lot of practice, and as a bunny, if you don't have any experience, it's kind of learning what's happening in your body as you're going. And if you don't have someone that you experience as an experienced rigger as well, they're not really going to be able to tell you. So going to workshops is pretty important, and being self-aware as a bunny for your own risk profile is important, because your rigger's not going to know what's happening to you. It's up to you to communicate all the time if something is going wrong. And if you don't know what's going wrong, your rigger's not going to know what's going wrong.
Communication is such a big thing.
Oh, we love communication on this show, don't we?
Yeah.
We're big on communication.
And it surprisingly can be hard to communicate in a moment, especially for rope bottoms who are sub-dropping. They lose their ability to communicate and don't know what's really happening to their body, and just get into that mindset as well, or that subspace.
So being very aware of like what the effect rope has on you.
I don't really sub-drop too much during
Subspace.
suspensions. Subspace too much during suspensions, but I know people who subspace instantly. And then I've heard other people who subspace and they can't communicate. So there's a lot of different factors to it, knowing your own risk profile and awareness of your body.
Just don't run into it. Like, take the time, research, talk to people. We're always happy to have conversations with people if they want to talk about it, or connect with places. I'm always happy to, if someone wants to have a talk about Shibari or poly or anything, send me a message. I'm more than happy to have a chat about it, and I'll respond to it. I just don't respond mostly to DMs, which are just you're hot, flame.
That's not how to get advice. Thank you girls so much for coming on and explaining us a little bit about your experiences with rope tying and Shibari, and also congratulations again on celebrating your somewhat 1 year anniversary. We'll wait in 6 months when you have had time served and spent.
We'll wait another 6 months, but then I'll be having an anniversary with my boyfriend, and then we can have a throuple anniversary.
Love that. Cute. We're all about the open poly vibes as well, aren't we?
Yep,
Yeah.
100%.
All right. Well, thank you, girls, gender, people. I didn't even ask you that before. Thank you for coming on, and we're looking forward to having all you guys on.
Thank you, ladies. It's been amazing. Fantastic.
That's all we have time for today. I hope you enjoyed tuning into Project S.L.U.T. Stay safe, stay whorish, and we'll see you soon.